regular season, 2 wins apiece. Overall, Chicago, as you saw, 6-4, but here at the Cotton Bowl, they have split their 6 encounters. A little bit of holding going on just across the midfield stripe. An early restart. Dropping it back was Price, and Temak Suarez's first touch sails harmlessly wide.
We expect a high emotional pitch to this game, not only because it's a deciding game 3 in a semifinal series, but of the physical nature of game 2.
Kevin Stott will be the man trying to keep that in control. George Vergara, Scott Whalen will be his assistants down the line. Alex Pruss, the 4th official. Long ball upfield for Razov, headed back, controlled by Suarez. One of those changes you were talking about, and so far his passing leaving a little bit to be desired, probably working through some early jitters. A long ball for Razov, and no problem for Dodd. Mark Dodd, 6'2", 180-pounder, 34 years of age, actually born here in the Dallas area, and in fact started his connection with Dave Durr in Denver, of all places, as the two combined for a couple of back-to-back A-League championships in the early 90s with the Foxes. Suarez, outside. Early ball from Pareja. No one made the run. Kubik. Probably no sweeper in MLS comes out better than him. Here's Bobrovsky looking for help, and it could be Kubik. He goes for the big check. Early touch. Razov on the turn. Shot. Goal! Oh, what beautiful work from Chicago, and it pays off with the early goal.
A tough start for the Dallas Burn here at home. And Mark Dodd will have to reach down deep for the experience it has. But Kubik is the player that puts it through to Ante Razov. Kubik had gotten the ball from Jerzy Podrozny. Nice little turn here by Ante Razov. Some discussion about a potential offside, but I don't think so. I think Razov timed his run well, and I think more importantly, Kubik played the ball early to put him through. And we talked about Kubik during the lineups about it being a complete player. This is the defender of the year in MLS last year, now setting up Ante Razov for the go-ahead goal.
So Ante Razov, the California native who was cast off by his hometown Galaxy, only to catch fire with the Fire last year, starting things out on a good note for Chicago. The header off of Price, glancing wide of the goal, and that is not good news. The early goal for Chicago. First goal this year for Dallas. They have won 18 of the 21 games. When they have surrendered the first goal, they are 0-9.
Very surprising to see Lubos Kubik so far upfield so early in the game. He's the sweeper for the Chicago Fire. There is no offside there because the ball is already being played to Razov, and he's still not behind the last defender.
Here's another chance, and a cheeky back heel from Peter Novak. Razov to Novak. Touched out by Tedek, and one of the big questions we talked about, Richard Ferrer and Brandon Pollard, 2 anchors for this Dallas Burn defense, not starting the game, and Chicago taking advantage quickly against Mark Santel and Eric Dade, who probably showing a few too many jitters in the early going.
Well, 3 changes at the back, including the goalkeeper Mark Dodd for the Dallas Burn. Jorge Rodriguez having to adjust back there too, without Ferrer as well as Brandon Pollard. Rodriguez had to move to the left side, which was normally the position taken up by Brandon Pollard.
Making the run for Brosny. Kubik, an educated left foot. Razov as well around, and he can score from here on a free kick, but probably not against a keeper like Dodd. Kubik, chip, touch, shot, goal! It looks like Jesse Marsch. It is.
If you want to take the crowd out of the game instantly, 2 early goals here for the Chicago Fire, as if they're sticking perfectly to a game plan. And the set play here executed perfectly. Again, it's Lubos Kubik who starts the play, puts it in behind Tedek and a couple of other Dallas Burn defenders in a perfectly timed run. And on the slide, Jesse Marsch jams it into the net. No chance for Mark Dodd.
So within the first 5 minutes of this game, the Fire, playing like defending champions, they have scored 7 straight goals against the Burn after Dallas scored the first 2 of this Western Conference semifinal. And what a man to do it. The guy, the only player who has lifted the cup every single year, that's Jesse Marsch. Into the box, cross to the middle, looking for Graziani, deflected to the near side, and Suarez can only look on in frustration. Eck. Headed back in by Suarez. Back to Eck. Far side, Dallas trying to get something going, and Pareja in a battle. Chris Armas gets there first, touches it out, surrendering the throw-in.
Well, at this moment, the Dallas Burn have to be reeling psychologically. They have to get their bearings back. And the fact is, there is a lot of time remaining. And if they take that approach and know that they've got so many minutes still remaining to try and turn this match around, it only takes one goal at a time. And they've got the offensive weapons. The Dallas Burn this season, the second highest scoring team in MLS.
This will be an in-swinger towards Zach Thornton's net. Making the run, Tedek, bending to the near side, and a good grab by Thornton.
83 minutes and change.
Matt Jordan, you have to wonder, you know, somewhere in the back of his head, he's thinking it might have been different if I was out there.
Well, the fact is, when you talked to David Gurr before the game, all he talked about was that he was so blessed having the two best goalkeepers, the best tandem of goalkeepers in all of MLS, and to have the option to go to such an experienced goalkeeper like Mark Dodd. And Mark Dodd in '96 was goalkeeper of the year in MLS.
And I think from what we have seen, you can't really fault Dodd on either of the first two goals. Just some jitters from the defense and some open shots that Chicago took advantage of.
Novak here being chased by Graziani. And take it from behind. Graziani will be spoken to. He probably should be given a yellow card. He made no attempt to play the ball.
Remember, there might be a little bit of bad blood between these two teams. In game two, Brandon Pollard late in the game, garbage time in fact, Dima Kovalenko, young Project 40 player, took out Brandon Pollard with a reckless challenge and actually earned a one-game suspension and fine. Ended up breaking the left back's leg just above the ankle. Touched out near side and a Fire throw-in.
Well, the critical element on both the Chicago Fire and very early goals have been Lubos Kubik. Kubik setting up Razov for the first one and setting up Jesse Marsh for the second one.
Novak to the middle to Kubik. Kubik in a foot race. Durr and Pareja combine to knock him down. And he's going face to face with Kevin Stott saying, come on, protect me. Jason Price, by the way, not exactly sure how he got that knock on his nose, but Kubik with Dodd on his heels. Right now, I think Price perhaps more injured by the two goals given up. A one-man wall, and Kubik wants it moved back.
Well, he's right. It should be a full 10 yards. It's obvious because of the fading football markings that he's only about 7 yards back. Pareja in front of Kubik.
And Razov and Dade getting into a little bit of a scuffle right near the penalty spot. Dodd on his heels on the line. About 40 yards out, and Kubik's blast will sail high and wide, and a goal kick as the whistles rain down. Let's flash back to game two as Brandon Pollard on the bench today because of this challenge late in the game.
The score was already 4-0, so some people question why this type of play was necessary. Kovalenko stepping on the back of Pollard's left leg. Pollard out for the season and out for several months. Will have surgery tomorrow.
Far side, this will be a throw-in, and you can tell Brandon Pollard, he actually tried to walk on it. This is a guy who is a physical player and takes pride. He guts it out. And he has been a big part of this Dallas defense, and you can tell they miss him tonight. Nothing against the quality of players that are on the field, but the chemistry just is not there. Santel. Marsh, who scored the second goal, intercepts. Suarez takes it back. Here's Graziani to Suarez. Lifts the ball in, looking for Deering, who had backed up into safety, and that allows Chicago to start the break.
Oh, an excellent clearance there by Lubos Kubik. Keeps possession out of their defensive end and gets the attack started for Chicago.
Just missing Kusetsky on the run. Dade. Touch to Deering. Another one of the hometown guys. Born here in Dallas. Grew up a lot of his spent a lot of his youth in the St. Louis area before returning to Plano, just north of Dallas. A former teammate of Claudio Reyna's in Germany. Dade. Long ball up front. They need Perea to do something, pull some magic out of the hat. Here's Price. Leaves it in the middle for Eck. Early ball Suarez. Back to the middle and well read again by the defense of the Fire. It's Chris Armas. Razov, Pobrozny off balance.
Believe it or not, Phil, sometimes taking such an early and commanding lead can work against you.
Jesse Marsh throwing the ball at Graziani, perhaps inadvertently, but Kevin Stott saw it, and he knows Dallas is a little frustrated.
Dallas frustrated, down 2-0, and there's really a danger for the Chicago Fire that they maybe start defending too much. And also psychologically, a 2-0 lead is very dangerous, because the fact is, should Dallas get one goal, the momentum changes, and they've only got one more to get to tie it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. A yellow card caution has been
saw that happen
issued
to the LA Galaxy in the MLS Cup final in 1996.
In the 11th minute.
Graziani. Suarez, early ball. Price lays it back for Eck. Too hard. Here comes Chicago. Kusevsky switches field and plenty of space for Pobrozny if he can catch it. Coming over Santel. Pobrozny. On the run is Novak. Novak, top of the box. Stops on a dime. Cuts back. Knocked. Gets to the end line. Crossed. And headed away by a diving Eric Dade with Ante Razov lurking.
It also obviously appears that the bigger danger is the counterattack of the Chicago Fire. The Dallas Stars trying to get back in this game are going to risk pushing players forward. And with their Eastern European accent, the fact that there's the three former Polish internationals plus the former Czech international, Lubos Kubik, the team, they are top-notch in the counterattack opportunities.
Corner kick upcoming. Novak will take it, and the Chicago captain, last year's team MVP, will spin this one into the middle. High header by Kubik over the bar. By the way, it looks like there might be an early substitution for the Chicago Fire. Not exactly sure why, but Paul Dougherty was sprinting behind the net behind Zach Thornton and now sprints back to midfield to have a few words with head coach Bob Bradley. Kusevsky took a tumble just a few moments ago, but seems a little early to make the switch when you have a 2-0 lead and everything seems to be working right. Throw in for Dallas. Here's Pareja. Again, Chris Armas stops the break. Pareja lifts it in the box for Kreis. Turn, shot. A stop by Thornton. A good idea for Kreis. He had a defender hanging all over him.
Top scorer in MLS this season, having an opportunity here. Tight marking by Tommy Sohn. Tommy Sohn matched up with Jason Kreis. And remember, Tommy Sohn formerly with the Dallas Stars, and they were teammates and practiced against each other day in, day out. So I think for Bob Bradley, the idea is to have Sohn mark on Jason Kreis because he knows him so well.
Worked so far tonight. Pareja over his head. Nutmeg by Armas through the legs of Graziani, and Chris Armas on the run. Here's Sohn. Near side, C.J. Brown. Everything seemed to go the Fire's way in 1998. They've had to work a little bit harder. The win's a little harder to come by in 99, but the defending champions still alive, and judging by the first few minutes of this game, they have not given up their crown by any means. Pobrozny, near side Novak. Makes you wonder what's going on through Siggy Schmidt's mind back in Los Angeles. The Galaxy head coach won the Western Crown last year under Octavio Zambrano. The Galaxy also had the chance, the opportunity to play for the MLS Cup in their very own stadium, only to be denied by the Fire at the end. Ante Razov on the ground, and it looks like this might be who Dougherty comes in for as they finally stop play.
Razov entered this game with a problem, a left calf strain that had been bothering him earlier in the week, and it looks like he may have actually popped that calf.
He's listed as questionable to start today, but he will be out after he already starts things off on a good note.
And Razov, very important part of the attack for the Chicago Fire. There he is, providing goal number 3 in game 1 of this series. And that Here today, set up by Lubos Kubik. In a tight space in the box, he spins and puts it past Mark Dodd at the near post.
Even though he is injured, and that's a very smart move by Bob Bradley. Why risk it when this is your leading scorer? They need him against LA more than the rest of this game. Let's see, however, if Dallas can make it come back to bite him.
Well, Peter Novak has moved up into a forward position alongside Roman Kasetsky in Razov's place.
Good work by Armas through 3 red jerseys to come away with it. Marsh clearance, long upfield and out of play. Razov getting treatment. Rich Marmas, the Fire trainer, has been a busy man this year.
It looked more like a hamstring injury where they were applying the ice. It would be a new one, at least according to the reports we've had from the medical staff of the Chicago Fire.
Foul called, free kick for Kubik. 15 minutes gone, 30 minutes left to go in the first half. Long ball up for Novak. Santel heading it wide of Dodd's net, allowing the experienced keeper to come out and get it. Santel, part of that Chicago, or that Columbus Fox dynasty in the A-League in the early 90s. So that is one other thing, perhaps, that Dave Durr was counting on as C.J. Brown joins the list of the walking wounded. Santel, if he's going to be put into a difficult situation, Mark Dodd and he have a communication, but to this point, it's only been how'd he get past us.
That was with the Colorado Foxes.
ESPN2's coverage of Major League Soccer continues Sunday when the red-hot LA Galaxy host the winner of tonight's match. It is Game 1 of the Western Conference Final, live from the Rose Bowl. For more MLS news and information, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Talk about this a little bit more at the half, but Los Angeles happy with the way this game is turning out at this point?
I really think the LA Galaxy would prefer to play the Dallas Burn at this time. And the fact is, with the experience, particularly the internationals for the Chicago Fire, starting with the man about to take this free kick, Lubos Kubik, they know when to peak. These guys have been around in the European leagues, have so much experience. They know how to handle playoff situations. And I really think that the LA Galaxy fear Chicago Fire as defending champions as well, having had the experience of already won it once. They fear them much more than they fear the Dallas Burn.
Deering steps up, kicks it to the near side. No problem for Marsh. No one was there. And Oscar Pareja screaming to his teammates, push up, push up. They need to get some goals. Again, they scored the first 2 in the series and have since given up 7 in a row to the Fire. Dade pressuring Novak. Ball comes free and Dallas has it.
Well, I talked to the Dallas Burn coach, David Durr, just before the game. I said, that 4-0 score in game number 2, does that really cause your guys to be shaken up in terms of confidence? He says, no, not at all, because the team didn't feel that it was really a 4-0 game, and they thought they'd be ready to play here tonight. Obviously not.
Good hustle by Christ to keep it in play and draw the foul from Brown. Early start, header over the bar. They had the numbers up, but could not take advantage.
Good thinking to try and target Tedek in the box, and he was free. Zach Thornton, 98th MLS goalkeeper of the year. I think he's got a little bit of jumping power. Had that covered completely.
Long do to cross midfield outside the circle, and Etchwell headed back. Here's Pareja with Price on the run. He got some separation from Son, but good work in the midfield. Did not allow Dallas to get the ball there. The cross to the middle towards Graziani, headed away by Brown and out of play. A throw-in for the Fire.
That's a very important matchup in this game. Graziani being marked very tightly by U.S. national team defender C.J. Brown.
Early cross, looking for Price, and Thornton out to gobble it up. The drum beats continuing to pour down from the stands here in the Cotton Bowl, and give the Dallas fans some credit. They have not given up on the Burn. They're still hoping to see a win and a chance to make it to MLS Cup 99.
There's a long way to go in this one.
Deering Trying to turn is Kasetsky. He has some help with Dougherty. Tackle from behind. Rodriguez will get the yellow card, and Kasetsky down on the turf. Kasetsky has suffered the foul 66 times this year. That's actually a far cry less than last year, but
the slide there by Jorge Rodriguez, and he actually didn't miss the ball by very much. But the fact is, it's from behind,
Ladies and gentlemen, your
and he came in slightly high, catching Kasetsky on the outside of the right knee. And he got a yellow. Maybe if he didn't come as close to the ball as he did, the red card could have easily come out there.
Bob Bradley looking on. Mentioned that 15-game winning streak as part of the assistant coaching staff with DC, and then last year's storybook season with Chicago. Kubik cleared by Deering. Dougherty to the outside. Gutierrez. Nice early ball. Novak. Cross hard across the face of the goal and out of play.
Well, another weapon offensively for the Chicago Fire, Diego Gutierrez. We saw him use the outside of his left foot there. He's a left-footed player. And he dished the ball into Peter Novak. Novak just a little bit off balance as he went to cross that ball. But Gutierrez, as good as he is and as quick as he is in the tackle and coming back to defend, he's just as quick to get forward.
Kubik just decks Tedet. Wins the header. Long upfield for Novak, facing the double team. Cuts to the inside, and taking it away right off his boot was Mark Santel. Eck. Near side, Suarez is open. Tries to use him. Poor pass, and Jesse Marsh takes it away. Marsh, Harmas, Kasetsky. Looking for a run by Pobroshny. It was not coming. Santel to Deering. 21 minutes in the book, and it's not been pleasant reading for Dallas. Battle in the box. Pereira takes it off Gutierrez. Gutierrez slides it out of play. Close to a penalty, but he got the ball, and it's a corner kick for Dallas.
Well, Chicago claiming, both Lubos Kubik and Gutierrez claiming that Pereira dove, and I think he tried to make it appear like worse contact than really took place.
Perhaps also saying that Pereira fouled Gutierrez before the play. 23 and a half left to go. The corner kick whistles across the goal. Near side, Suarez. Cross deflected by Brown. On the turn, Eck whiffs on the volley because Marsh just got a boot to it. Upfield still in play. At the stripe. Santel will take it. Look at Kasetsky. In the middle, looking for Eck. Poor pass. Eck takes it away from Armas. That's not easy. Here's Graziani. A slide by Dougherty. In the box for Chicago. Touched back by Brown. And finally cleared by Tommy Sohn.
Well, you can see the pressure building here. Dallas Burn getting into the attack. It's starting to create some openings.
Here's Eric Dade. Lost the ball briefly. Pressured by Novak. That's not a pleasant feeling. Not sure where the ball is when Peter Novak is around. Deering to the near side. Cross. Marsh brings it down nicely. And back upfield. There's some space in front of Novak. Can he get past Santel?
Things changed quite a bit for the Chicago Fire without Ante Razov. They're also missing Josh Wolf, who's now out for the season with a knee injury.
Graziani.
The fact is, right now, they don't have a true forward. Peter Novak playing forward. Kasetsky's really a right winger, so it kind of limits the type of ball that they could play forward. He's not a true target player for the long ball over the top.
Pareja, and a hard save by Zach Thornton. Just past the midway point of the first half here at the Cotton Bowl. It is the third and deciding game of this Western Conference semifinal series. The Burn fans have showed up to show their support, but right now the Chicago Fire looking like the champions they are. The early 2 goals in the first 5 minutes have set the stage, but tie over the last 5 minutes, it appears as though something has woken up the Dallas Burn. However, as we take a look at the Budweiser scoring summary, Razov and Marsh in the first 5. Could it be too little, too late?
Well, both goals assisted by Lubos Kubik, number 5, the central defender, the sweeper for the Chicago Fire.
Marsh make that zone, and Price just getting into a tussle, and Price taking a yellow card on the altercation.
At this point for the Dallas Burn and Jason Price, they're really just a goal away from getting back in this game. Cuauhtemoc Suarez, you see in the background, Jason Price stepping through, called for the foul, receiving the yellow card for what was deemed a deliberate foul away from the ball.
This cannot be a good 120 minutes or so in Jason Price's life. Things had to be looking so good when they took the 2-0 lead against Chicago in the first game a week and a half ago here at the Cotton Bowl. One of the most frustrated players in the field in Game 2 in Chicago. Hard tackle by Deering, but it only finds Jerzy Pobrożny. And here comes Chicago again. Soft pass for Pobrożny, but off target, no problem for that. What does Dallas need to accomplish? Obviously, they still have time. There's still 65 minutes to be played, but they need to get something going around the box.
I think the main thing is to get the ball into Graziani. He's so good at holding the ball, allowing other players to come and support into dangerous attacking positions. And that has been ideal for Jason Price as he ended up winning the scoring title in MLS in '99 during the regular season.
They get it to Graziani, and you can see C.J. Brown flying into the picture to keep up with them. Pass for Kasetsky by Eck.
But the most important thing for the Dallas Burn is to retain their composure. There's a lot of minutes left in this game, about 65 of them. And they cannot lose their composure and leave themselves vulnerable to counterattacks because the Chicago Fire will tear them apart.
Far side, Dallas. Eck. Calm, composed, trying to find the gaps in a very stiff Fire defense. Retaliation perhaps from zone. Foul called. Free kick upcoming for the Burn as Zach Thornton calls for 3 men in the wall. There's that matchup you're talking about.
If Graziani can get free, he'll open things up for the Dallas Burn attack.
Price slams it into the center. Roman Kasetsky checking to make sure the shoulder's still in one piece. Long throw in. Gets past the defense. Graziani pulled down at the 6. No call and cleared away to the near side. Graziani coming over to scream at the referee, and he might have an argument.
I think the Dallas Burn definitely have an argument. Graziani's so good with his back to the goal. Bodied C.J. Brown as he turned, and C.J. Brown appeared to pull him down.
Suarez, can he get there? Not before Brown knocks it out of play.
That's what we just talked about, getting the ball into Graziani. He's so slippery, he's so savvy in being able to turn defenders, as well as hold the ball to dish it off.
Far side, Rodriguez's cross. Headed away by Gutierrez. Donet trying to get a cross in. Deflected off the defense and cleared by Song.
Right now, the Chicago Fire defending with 10 players, and you don't want to do a whole lot of that. Eventually, something breaks down.
Touched off of Dade and out for the Fire throw. Coming up Sunday on ABC Sports, it's the season premiere of the ISU Grand Prix Series. Road to the Gold begins as the world's top Olympic-eligible skaters compete in the first of 6 Grand Prix events. The Shell Quad among them. Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, from the National Car Rental Skate America. 2-0. Goals in the first 5 minutes for the Fire. Dallas needs to win this game to keep their season alive. Novak. 17 minutes left in the half. Price. Graziani giving chase, gets past Novak. There's a little bit of collision, and it was instigated by the Burn forward, and he is not having a good day. And in fact, it looks like Kevin Stott has had enough of Graziani's antics.
I think it's a bit much, frankly, a yellow card for that particular foul. But it seems Kevin Stott is already kind of looking for Graziani because Graziani was in his face a few moments ago because of this. This is the foul for the yellow card. That's not that much of a foul. It's deliberate, but he's not going to injure anybody that way.
Like you said, I think a little bit of accumulation, half for the mouth and half for the elbow. And perhaps Graziani should have had it go the other way. Now Pareja screaming at the referee as the throw-in goes Chicago's way. 13 fouls. That's actually less than the rate of game 2. Dougherty picked up mid-season from Tampa. Far side zone. Nice cut by Gutierrez against Donna. That's the most athletic matchup of the night. Gutierrez looking in the middle. Marsh almost had it, but Eck back to clear it away.
It's very important for the Chicago Fire to consistently show a credible attack so that they keep the Chicago Fire honest. We saw before when the Chicago Fire were defending with 10 men, leaving only 1 man up. It gives Dallas too much time to start to be able to find ways to pick apart that defense. You go into the shell too early, many times it backfires.
15 minutes left to go. Plus a second here or there. Santel to the middle. Dodd clears it away off balance, still in play. Nice hustle by Price. Dallas keeps it in. Deering. Santel. Rodriguez. The Salvadoran national looking for some movement. Suarez. A poor first touch and fighting to get it back. Novak, Pobrozny, and a slide by Santel wins it back to the burn. Here's Graziani. He's got some separation from C.J. Brown, but Pareja, a rare miss trap. Dougherty. Kubik. Nice run by Dougherty, but the pass out of play and a throw-in for Dallas.
We saw Graziani again. How good he is at beating the first defender. One-on-one ability, and while he's doing that, he has his head up, making the next pass into a dangerous space. Unfortunate for Dallas that Pareja's first touch was not good enough.
Suarez makes a run. Deering elects to play it safe. Chested by Eck. Here's Dave. Nice play by Santel. Rodriguez against Pobrozny. Price. Throw in Dallas. There's Chad Deering. Santel. Still Santel. Deflects off Dougherty. Santel wins it back to Deering. Soft pass, one-on-one. Graziani against Brown, elects to pass it off. Nice shot over the bar by Donoff. He had a go from 25.
Well, it's a commanding 2-0 lead for the Chicago Fire. Both goals coming in the first 5 minutes of the game. Lubos Kubik, their main defender, in fact, the defender of the year in MLS last year, setting up both of those goals. And I talked about him being the most complete player in MLS. That's because the guy can tackle, he can head the ball, he can intimidate physically, plus he's one of the best passers and has one of the best shots in the league with his left foot.
For all of you Fire fans, you might want to start sending flowers and gifts, and I'm sure a few sports cars would be appreciated, because Lubos Kubik's contract basically up at the end of this year. There is an MLS option, but they have said if Kubik wants to return to Europe, they will let him. He said he has loved it, his time in Chicago, but there have been a few problems just adjusting for his wife and his kids, and he's got to think of them as well. And obviously, if Kubik does leave, it would be a huge hole for the Fire to fill. 12 minutes left in the first half. Choppy play here over the last couple of minutes. Dougherty back to Kubik. Pobrozny couldn't reach it, and Santel gets it back for Dallas.
Getting very close to a critical time in the match, the late minutes of the half. And the fact is that Dallas Burn psychologically could make a huge impact by stealing a goal here before the half. But what they have to look out for is the counterattack from Chicago. Chicago gets a third one before halftime. It could be lights out here at the Cotton Bowl for the Burn.
Deflected away. Dougherty pushing it up. towards Kasetsky, near side, Pobrozny finding some space. Santel forced out of his sweeper roll. Pobrozny across the face of the box. Suarez sticking a boot in, pushing and shoving and kicking, and they're going to call a foul against Pobrozny on the ground.
Well, we've seen some players mixing it up. We've seen some physical play, but the teams have generally stuck to playing soccer, and there was really some question about that because of the controversy surrounding Brandon Pollard's broken leg in Game 2.
Nice play to Price. Nice defense from Kubik. Throwing for Dallas deep. Waiting for the bodies to get in the box. At this point, only Graziani and Pareja. Price to the middle, looking for Deering. Gutierrez got a head on it. Graziani brings it down. Graziani gets the next chance. Graziani at the top of the box. Sticking a boot in at the last moment was C.J. Brown, but it's going to be off Graziani for the goal kick.
Well, the Dallas Burg trying to get into the game here, but they were out of the game early, the first 5 minutes. In fact, the third minute, the goal by Razov, who's out now with an injury. And here, Jesse Marsh, also set up by Lubos Kubik in the 5th minute of play to build this commanding lead.
Razov since was yanked after what appears to be a strained left hamstring. 14 goals, 7 assists in the regular season as he won the scoring championship for Chicago again, and another one of the bright young stars at Bruce Arena's disposal for the U.S. national team in years to come. All this for a former Galaxy castoff who found it hard to find a game. So I guarantee you, he already got one little bit of revenge last year. I'm sure he'd like to get another chance at the Galaxy. Foul against Gutierrez. They're going to call a free kick for Dallas.
And we are told that Razov's injury is not considered to be terribly serious. It's more precautionary. Here's Diego Gutierrez, very quick in the tackle, not quick enough there. Gets there late, fouling Donev.
Things not going the Burns way around their opposing goal. Pareja wins it back nicely against Armas. Chip in towards Price. The flag came up, though. That one was close.
Well, Bob Bradley and Dave Durr exchanged very heated words during Game 2 surrounding that Brandon Pollard broken left ankle. And the fact is they do have a great deal of respect for each other. Two highly competitive individuals, but it did not end in a pretty fashion after Game 2. Since then, they've been on the phone with each other a couple of times trying to mend the fences.
Well, Kovalenko himself actually went to Brandon Pollard after the game to apologize. Did the same before today's game and also apologized to Dave Durr. It will not reduce the suspension. Obviously, at this point, Chicago doesn't miss him, and I think Dallas does miss Brandon Pollard desperately. 8:20 left to go in the first half. Chicago nearing the halfway point towards clinching a spot in the Western Conference Final against LA for the second straight year. Nice touch by Kasetsky, Pobrozny, and here on the run is Armas. Far side Gutierrez, but the pass behind him. Gutierrez wins it back, fighting and shoving against Donev. They're going to call a hold against the Fire midfielder. Quickly restarted. Graziani, it's 1-on-3. Graziani. Marsh giving chase. Graziani against Brown. Marsh got a boot to it, and Brown fighting to catch up to this one. It's still in play. A good idea by Graziani, perhaps just an inch or two from making something of it. The flex off of Kasetsky, a throw in for Dallas. Join ESPN for coverage of the ATP Tour, Mercedes Super 9, Euro Card Open. Quarterfinal coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern. For the latest ATP Tour info, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Some substitutes getting set to come in for Dallas. Brian Haynes, the ageless veteran, enters the game for Tamak Suarez. The experiment did not work tonight. Not for a lack of trying, and you can see Suarez's frustration as he walks to the end of the bench.
Well, and it was an experiment that was forced due to the broken leg of Brandon Pollard. Also, the groin injury taking out Richard Ferrer, who normally is the last line of defense for the Dallas Burn. So you've got a change in goalkeeper and 2 changes in your back 3. It's bound to unsettle a team, and that's what we saw in the first 5 minutes.
Pushing it up to Santel, and you can see it looks like what has happened. They've made a switch as the foul called against the Burn and more booze rained down. It looks like Rodriguez has dropped into the center with Eric Dade. and they have moved Brian Haynes almost to a marking back position on the outside, getting Mark Santel back into the attack. And that was something we talked about in the pregame. Not so much just Santel filling in for Ferrer, who had done a great job at sweeper, but what that did, taking Santel away from the Dallas offense. Kasetsky in the box almost made something single-handedly.
Well, also Mark Santel, when he plays wide, perhaps a player that can help more defensively for the Dallas Burn, more so than Cuauhtemoc Suarez, who's really more an out-and-out attacking winger.
Price against Song. Still Price, turning in the box nicely. Blasted across for Graziani, and the outside of the left failed him that time.
Right there, just inches from being able to connect. Graziani, a strong run to the back, fake run to the back post, comes back towards the near post, and Price delivers. Graziani just not able to keep the ball on target.
Headed away by Haynes, 37-year-old, former member of the Trinidad and Tobago national team, who has spent the last close to 20 years of his life in the U.S.
And an older player understands perhaps more than someone like Cuauhtemoc Suarez that it's a 90-minute game. If the other team could score 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, you could score 2 goals to even it up at any 5-minute period in the game. And you cannot let that leave your head if you're going to make a comeback.
One thing that does give the Burn perhaps a little bit of hope, nearly, or in fact more than a third of their goals, 23 goals, have come in the last 20 minutes of the game. They scored 54 in the regular season. They can still put some goals on the board. Kubik punched away by Dodd. He wasn't going to take a chance on that one with Novak right behind him. You interested in Major League Soccer's quest for the cup? Looking for stories about how your favorite team or players are doing? Log on to Yahoo Sports and follow your favorite team. Up-to-the-minute coverage of the 1999 playoffs. Far side, a player down as Dougherty tries to head it away.
Diego Gutierrez. A little hot under the collar there, and it's starting to look like game 2, where these teams really bit and clawed through much of the 90 minutes. High ball, Gutierrez just not quite getting there in time as Eric Dade gets up well to win the header, and Gutierrez does come down very hard, and he was way up there. It was a long way to come down from.
Dallas has to regain some of their composure as well. They cannot afford to lose a player down 2 goals.
Well, this could be a diversionary tactic, really, by the Chicago Fire. I'm sure Gutierrez is in some pain, but they're using this right now, I think, to maybe unsettle the Dallas Burn and keep them from focusing on getting back in this game.
See Armas and Gutierrez, nice little story there. Obviously, Armas playing for the U.S. national team after getting his nationality switched in a way, at least according to FIFA. Played 5 games with the Puerto Rican national team before being cleared to play for the U.S. Nice ball from Santel for Price. Price taking on Song, looking for help in the middle. He can serve the ball. Nice to the middle, and a diving header just off the forehead of Chad Deering, smothered by Zach Thornton.
Chad Deering, the Dallas captain, coming forward from the central midfield position. And he connects on a good cross from Jason Price, an in-swinger. He's open in the box. Graziani may have distracted him slightly. Graziani trying to get his head on the ball. But Deering heading down as he should, but heading right in front of Zach Thornton.
Remember, it was a similar goal back in the Open Cup that put him on the U.S. World Cup squad for Steve Sampson. 3 minutes and change left to go here in the first half of play, just moments away from an update on the 1999 MLS playoffs. We'll give you a breakdown of the conference finals, a surprise announcement from California, as well as highlights from the first half of play. Novak takes a push in the back from Dade, and that's going to be a yellow card from Kevin Stott. And there looked like there was a little bit of contact, and Novak's momentum perhaps making this injury look a little bit worse.
Well, Dade did challenge from behind, and he's picked up a few yellow cards over the course of the season. 5 yellow cards for Eric Dade in the regular season. We'll see it. Perhaps it was not a vicious challenge, but it was from behind. He did clip the ankles of Novak. It does put the player in danger. And I think really in the referee's mind, he's recalling the collision just a few moments ago between Dade and Diego Gutierrez, which for me was not a foul. But perhaps all the complaining by the Chicago Fire team may have intimidated the official just a bit.
21 fouls. What I was saying about this half being below the other 8, well, we're right on it. 42 fouls, that's high for an MLS game. 2:40 left to go as Novak limps back into the attack. Kubik, who has 2 assists to his name on the night. Headed back in the air by Haynes. Deering can't clear. Kosetsky trying to fight the ball free. That's going to be a foul against Haynes. And the Dallas fans let Kevin Stott know what they think. A lot of these 50-50 calls seem to be going 0-100 towards Chicago.
As if they needed the help. 2-0, just about made it to halftime with that lead.
Mark Dodd, again, a surprise substitution in the starting lineup, considering what Matt Jordan was able to do during the regular season. Snake bit by 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, and Dallas has been fighting to come back since. Here's Kubik. Blasts it to the post, and what a snare by Mark Dodd. That is why Dave Durr put him in there.
What was interesting there was the close shot that we were able to get of all the players jockeying for the inside track for that free kick coming in. And when you get to the playoffs, every quarter of an inch counts if you can get the inside track to a ball floated into the box.
Kosetsky, a nice job to get that for Chicago. Here's Marsh. Again, a push from behind as Novak tumbles. Donovan giving chase. Gutierrez got a touch to it. So did Donovan. Finally out of play off with Gutierrez, and it's a throw-in for Dallas. Heck. 60 seconds left in the half. 60 seconds for Dallas to try and get some momentum in the locker room. And here's a chance for Pareja. Pareja cross out of play as the shot from Deering sailed wide anyway. And very, very close, but the linesman on the spot. A goal kick for Thornton.
A good attempt by the Dallas Burn to win one back before the half, and Pareja really hustled. And just couldn't quite keep that one in, and Deering continues to push forward and support the Dallas Burn attack to see if they can't get on the board.
Due to injuries, Dallas had to make some changes. They finally seem to have found a flow to the game over the last few minutes, but unfortunately the first 5 anything but. Here's Novak. And as you talked about, another fire goal could be disastrous. 10 seconds left. No call as Novak tumbled. 7 seconds. Tripped up Donovan. 4 seconds. 3. The foul called, and that's the way this half will end. 2-0 Chicago. Lubos Kubik with a couple of goals. A couple of assists. The first to Ante Razov, who later had to come out with the injury. Jesse Marsh, perhaps the icing on the cake. The Fire halfway towards one more step to defending their crown. When we come back again, we'll update you on the MLS playoffs, the conference finals around the corner.
I think that everyone is looking for a purpose in life. First thing off, I want an education. I want to learn something new, something important. I want to take center stage, take charge, see the places that made history, surround myself with interesting people. I want to be anything but average. I want to learn more about computers, start a career. The bottom line is, I just want to make a difference.
You have plans. Let the Air Force help you get them off the ground.
Challenges are a good thing.
Let's see some D! D! D!
Log on to dsports.com, the ultimate online sporting goods store. dsports.com. Seize the D.
Think 360 degrees of free-range motion and complete weightlessness won't affect your ability to shoot straight? Introducing Omega Boost, a stomach-turning, gravity-defying shooting game.
Are you all right, officer?
Yeah, I'm good.
PlayStation.
Over the years, my tastes have matured. Now I prefer more refined things, like this new home-style rigatoni. Beef, spices, Romano cheese. Mom, you want some?
No, I'm not hungry.
New home-style pastas from Chef Boyardee.
Available first at Foot Action.
The Major League Soccer playoffs on ESPN are brought to you by LiveSoccer.com. For those who eat, breathe, and live soccer. 2-0, the Chicago Fire playing like the defending champs they are, dominating the Dallas Burn in Dallas. The Burn need to find some way to come back to keep their playoff dreams alive. Take a look at some of the news coming out of California earlier today. Forget the San Jose Clash. The San Jose Earthquakes have returned. And when you take a look at what the new Earthquakes will be wearing, I don't know if Eric Winaldo will be a little bit jealous now that he's in Miami, but they are going back to a storied pastime.
Well, it's a venerable name from the North American Soccer League, a team I played against many years ago, the San Jose Earthquakes, very popular in the Bay Area.
Well, some of the goals of the year could be coming from an earthquake next year, but this year there are some very valuable contestants. They had 25 goals that went up to the media to challenge, and this is number one so far.
Marco Echeverri exhibiting his vision and world-class left-footed ability to strike the ball from long range, what we've come to expect from the captain from DC United, Marco Echeverri. Ante Razov, who has a goal in this game already in the 3rd minute of play, shows that he can strike from long range, and that's the best finish of all the 25 goals that were nominated, at least the longest range finish. Razov's left foot able to reach. Eddie Lewis of the San Jose Clash providing the 3rd finalist goal for the San Jose Clash, and Eddie Lewis showing good form also with the U.S. national team.
Maybe a little rude for the voters who are calling in, but he is up and eligible along with Razov and Echeverri. All you have to do to vote for your favorite goal is check out www.mlsnet.com. It's been a scary night in Dallas for Burn fans. Maybe a few frights of their own to hand to the Fire in the second half.
Stars has more new hit movies in prime time. Movies you'll see first on Stars and only on Stars.
Rugby 101, art. Sure, rugby players are violent and crazy, but underneath that beats the heart of an artist. They love to sing.
No, they never.
They love dance. They really love poetry. Their sensitivity makes me weep.
Rugby 101. Your remote to order.
You should see him do collage.
Counting down the top 20, a humble man with a heroic swing. He defied all odds and rewrote baseball history. Then, his prodigious talent and pure athleticism made him the most formidable offensive threat the game had ever seen. Sports Century athlete number 14, Hank Aaron at 10, and number 13, Wilt Chamberlain at 10:30. Friday on ESPN, presented by General Motors.
Hey, Jim, now this
Honest, I got it right here, buddy. It's icy cold and tasting great. Now, come on, Jeff, you tell me, is there anybody in this world who deserves this here Pepsi more than you?
Hi, Jeff.
See you later, Jeff.
Now that's what I call motivation.
I don't know where she came from.
Don't worry, Jeff. There's always Daytona.
Over the years, my tastes have matured. Now I prefer more refined things, like this new home-style rigatoni. Beef, spices, Romano cheese. Mom, you want some?
No, I'm not hungry.
New homestyle pastas from Chef Boyardee.
Travel arrangements for Major League Soccer provided by Priceline.com, where you can name your own price and save on airline tickets, hotel rooms, home mortgages, and more. Visit Priceline on the internet or call toll-free 1-800-PRICELINE and name your own price today.
Back here in Dallas, it's 2-0 in the final conference semifinal. This weekend, the quest for the cup continues. Let's take a look at how the conference finals break down. The Eastern Conference Finals are set. DC United and Columbus advancing by virtue of the sweep.
And as we look at that matchup for DC United, goalkeeping will be paramount. Tom Prestis here shutting out twice the Miami Fusion in the semifinals. He was inconsistent towards the end of the regular season, but he was there in the playoffs. And then the playmaking of DC United out of midfield, Jaime Moreno and Marco Echeverri, the Bolivian connection, so much understanding to create attacking opportunities for DC. And then defense for the Columbus Crew will be critical. They were able to play very forcefully and create offense from their defense. Offensively for the Columbus Crew, they have two of the best weapons in MLS. Brian McBride, dominant in the air, able to crash balls in with his head. Stern John, his partner up front. The ability from anywhere in the box with his stern turn to finish his chances.
Fighting it out for the right to get to MLS Cup 99, November 21st at Foxborough. In the West, LA has already clinched a spot in the Western Conference Finals. They'll face the victor of tonight's game.
And the LA Galaxy did it with a sweep and also through two shutouts by their goalkeeper, Kevin Hartman. He was flawless against the Rapids, as he was during most of the regular season, the top goalkeeper in MLS. And the playmaking of Mauricio Cienfuegos for the LA Galaxy breaks games wide open. His ability to see space and decimate defenses. Also, Cienfuegos, a part of his repertoire, the no-look pass as he sets up Danny Pena for the game winner in Game 2.
So the question then becomes, who does LA want to face in the Western Conference Finals? Chicago, perhaps a touch of revenge. It was the Fire that knocked LA out last year, and LA has won 3 of the 4 games against Chicago in '99.
Well, Sunday will be here in a hurry, and I think the LA Galaxy watching very closely, and the fact is, they must be fearing the Chicago Fire, not only because the Chicago Fire have this commanding 2-0 lead, but the fact is, as defending champions, they bring all of that experience and poise and composure, and that's what carries you through to try and repeat.
Let's see if Dallas can turn it around. Still another 45 minutes to go, but it will be Dallas or Chicago taking on the LA Galaxy Sunday, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN2. We'll show you highlights from the first half of play and try and figure out what Dallas has to do in the second next.
En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo, gracias a nuestro Señor Jesucristo, el amor del Padre y la comunión del Espíritu Santo sea contigo, Marco, y también con tu calzado. Amén.
Muchas gracias, Padre, por su bendición.
Buena suerte.
my tastes have matured. Now I prefer more refined things, like this new home-style rigatoni. Beef, spices, Romano cheese. Mom, you want some?
No, I'm not hungry.
New homestyle pastas from Chef Boyardee.
Now, what'll it be, sweetheart?
Let me guess. A nice, cold Pepsi. I wouldn't want to hear one of those crazy voices of yours, huh?
Honey, you ain't heard nothing yet. Hit it, fellas.
If I had one of those TV rating boxes on my television, the #1 show in the country would be 11 p.m. Sports Center. I never miss it. In my opinion, it's the best thing going. Okay, maybe it won't hit #1, but it'll definitely give Dharma and Greg a run for their money.
A very underrated defense. Daryl Gardner forces an incompletion, knocks Drew Bledsoe to the ground.
Face it, America. Situation comedy, it's a dead genre.
Not gonna like this either.
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer and ESPN may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or rebroadcast without the expressed written consent of Major League Soccer and ESPN. It is unpleasant ground for Mark Dodd. On the other end, maybe the second half will be a little kinder. Take a look at what happened to get us to 2-0 after the first 45 minutes.
Well, Dallas had made some adjustments in their defense, including starting Mark Dodd. They're without Richard Farron. Fabrosi starts. What's Lubos Kubik doing up there in the 3rd minute of play? He's the sweeper for the Scarlet Fire. He sets up Ante Razov. Razov making a well-timed run to keep himself onside, making the finish. Then in the 5th minute, a free kick. Again, it's Lubos Kubik providing the assist, and Jesse Marsh gets on the end of it in the box, leaving no chance for Mark Dodd. And Mark Dodd is a seasoned professional, the MLS goalkeeper of the year in '96, but he's a bit shaken after the 2 quick goals, as are his teammates. But the Dallas Burn would battle back and try and create some goal-scoring chances. One of the best ones in the 42nd minute, just before half. Chad Deering after a cross by Jason Christ.
Take a look at the stats. Some things stand out. 10 shots. Dallas actually has the lead. 23 fouls in the first half. 5 yellow cards. What will the second half bring? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. The kickoff's next.
That's why you call it Charlie Check, because we have the answers here.
We certainly added a lot of channels for no extra charge.
Well, you know, that happens, I guess, when you can't control yourself.
I believe as an American citizen, you ought to be able to watch any network signal that you want to.
We've got some exciting news on a free preview.
I was excited.
You wanted to talk to her?
I want to talk to her, yeah, exactly.
Well, we can call her.
No, that's okay.
Join us for the Charlie Chat, Monday, November 1st at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Hoop Life, a new Showtime series. Step out of bounds.
College football Saturday. First, the Big Ten squares off at noon.
Minnesota looks to get their ground game going to keep the ball away from Drew Brees and the powerful Boilermaker offense.
Then at 7, the Seminoles look to control the ground and the air.
The Noles are rolling, but Bobby Bowden remembers what a trap Charlottesville can be.
College game day at 11, followed by Purdue, Minnesota at noon. Florida State, Virginia at 7, Saturday on ESPN.
ESPN's coverage of the Major League Soccer playoffs is brought to you by Yahoo. Do you Yahoo? And by Chef Boyardee. Chef Boyardee is real food that's real fast. Give them what they want. Say yes to the chef. Second half getting set to get underway, and the white-clad Fire, 2 goals to the good, taking on the red and black of the Dallas Burn, and we are underway. Hesitantly, let's see if Dallas can pay back the Fire. Remember, it was 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, which turned this one around. Phil Shane Takia with you at the Cotton Bowl. Again, this is Game 3, the deciding game of the Western Conference semifinal series. The only series to go to a third game, as DC and Columbus both swept in the East against Miami and Tampa Bay, respectively. In the game we saw this past weekend on ESPN, LA taking care of Colorado in 2 straight games. The Galaxy at home awaiting the winner of this game, and after the first 45 minutes, it appears to be the Chicago Fire. A collision as Marsh runs into Brian Haynes, and Marsh goes down in a heap. A free kick for Chicago.
Well, things picking up here in the second half, much like the first half ended, with physical contact between these two teams.
5 yellow cards in the first half. Somewhat surprising, to say the least. Nice touch by Marsh in the corner. Knocked away, and this will be a throw-in on the far side for Chicago. Trying to back in to Sarko Rodriguez, and out for the goal kick. This was an important game for Dallas to get here in Dallas, the third game, getting that home field advantage. And Jason Price, in the very last game of the season, perhaps wrapped up 2 things. A chance for Dallas to advance to the conference finals and the MVP. It was a very important game against Tampa Bay. Eck fighting against Doherty. Haynes back to Rodriguez. Upfield for Price. Offside.
Well, it could be an MVP year for Jason Price, and in a game that we witnessed at Tampa Bay, he was able to score a critical goal, and the fact is he was able to tie Roy Lassiter and Sturgeon for the goal-scoring lead. He already pretty much had locked up the overall scoring.
Deering stepping up into the play. Santel far side. Price on the flank. Close to offside, no call. Santel has speed, but not that much, as Kubik had position. Over Pobrozny. Off his right foot. Perhaps explaining the errant pass a little bit. Santel, soft touch Pareja. On the turn, Pareja fights through 1 tackle. He's tripped up. That will be a foul and a free kick for Dallas. Collision with Jesse Marsh. Bradley sitting down, the head coach for the Fire. In the background, you can see Dennis Hamlet. In the middle is Mike Jeffries, the assistant coaches on a very solid Chicago Fire staff. Hamlet, actually, the Colorado Rapids Defender of the Year in '96 before ailments forced him to the sidelines.
The goal we were talking about for Jason Price, a golden one, tying him with Lassiter and Sturgeon. Not only that, this goal, the winner against the Tampa Bay Mutiny, allowed the Dallas Burn to move into second place, giving them the home field advantage, which they've yet to take advantage of in Game 3 here.
If they would have lost that game, they would have finished in 4th and had to face the Galaxy in the first round. But tell you what, Chicago doesn't look as much of an easier task. Here's Price looking to try and do something with the free kick. Looking for Donoff, can't get there. Kasetsky heads it to the flank, and Marsh slams it upfield. On the fly, Pobrozny. Rodriguez plays it back safely to Dar. Near side Eck. Dave. Poor pass, Gutierrez, who's dropped back a little bit more defensively here in the second half early. Good play by Dade to fill the passing lane.
Phil, it may not be too long before we see some offensive substitutions by the Dallas Burn. And he made 1 substitution, bringing Brian Haynes on for Cuauhtemoc Suarez. But if you look at Dante Washington, as well as John Jairo Treyes, there's some offensive weapons there that could be used by the Dallas Burn.
Kasetsky and Donoff getting into a collision. Kasetsky down, and Kevin Stott standing over the Polish striker, as though he is and does give him the yellow card.
Kasetsky always in the thick of things, always battling. This time, though, straight from behind. He's Not able to get around the player, tries to play through him.
C.J. Brown keeping a close eye on Graziani. Soft touch from Price, too soft. As Deering again pushing in to the opposing penalty area. He had perhaps the best chance of the game. Donoff relieves Gutierrez. Near side Pareja. He has been a busy man. Nice play for Deering, looking for Price, but too high on the header. And Thornton out quickly. Dougherty to Armas. Novak backing into Rodriguez. Dallas comes away with it.
As we mentioned, it's been a golden year for Jason Price. Could be ending prematurely here. And a Dallas Burn team that was transformed in '99, moving up to become the second highest scoring team in the league in the regular season.
Somewhat surprising, and Graziani has to take a lot of that, but I think the credit goes to Dave Durr as well. I mean, this is a team that last year went 15 and 17, and right after they lost in the playoffs, Dave Durr saying he wanted to change a lot of those players. Durr wanted to clean house practically. But after a few days to think it over, he elected to stick with the same basic team, and it paid off. A second-place finish behind LA in a 19-win season. But they need something to go right here in the final 40 minutes. Graziani to Deering. Santel's shot, nothing on it, no problem for Thornton.
But you look at Graziani, number 20 in red there. Dallas Burn, 9-2 since the trade that brought Graziani for a very popular Leonel Alvarez.
Donoff to Price in the corner, Price in the middle. Diving chance for Deering as he leads with the elbow. Knocks Kubik to the ground. Marsh touches it upfield. No one in a white jersey there, and Eck, a good pass to the middle for Deering. Deering. Line pass, and look who was back to intercept it. It was Peter Novak. And here's Kubik looking into the attack.
It's critical right now for the Chicago Fire to maintain some possession, just to take the pressure off their defenders.
Dade leads with the body, gets the ball in the process of throwing for Chicago.
Well, we mentioned all the great things that have happened for Jason Price in '99. One of them, he's reappeared with the U.S. national team for Bruce Arena. In fact, it's the first time he's been back with the U.S. national team since early '97. In September of this year, he scored a goal. In fact, versus Jamaica in Kingston on September 7th for the United States. So he's back in the mix for the USA.
Nice move by Gutierrez under pressure. Armas back to Gutierrez. Talking about that Armas-Gutierrez connection, Gutierrez actually played some youth games in his native Colombia, but has lived here for the past 15 years as Thornton pressured. And Gutierrez in the process of becoming an American citizen, perhaps another speedy flank player for Bruce Arena to consider. Here's Eck giving chase for Brosnan. Eck comes away with the ball nicely. Eck, top of the box, tries to switch fields. Gutierrez stripped by Donoff. The shot from Deering deflected. Off balance, side volley attempt by Graziani. And out for a goal kick. Give him credit for at least thinking it, even if he couldn't get it done. NHL comes your way on ESPN2. Joe Sakic and the Avalanche take on Eric Lindros and the Flyers. The Penguins and Kings follow tomorrow on ESPN2. For more, check out ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Pressure starting to mount on Zach Thornton's goal. Chicago Fire now been fired upon by the Burn 9 times. Chicago only 4 shots on the game, but 2 of them in the net.
That's all that counts. Novak against Haynes, and the 37-year-old Trinidadian almost came away with it. Dobrozny, deft flick to the outside. Swung to the middle by Marsh. No one there but Donoff, and there is Kasetsky to Hassel, the Burn midfielder. Kasetsky, similar to Kubik, also has an option for next year. Podrozny's contract is up. Peter Novak signed through the season of 2000. So regardless, there are some changes that could be lurking for the Fire. Nice pass for Pareja. Price moves to the middle as Donoff cross. Punched away by Thornton, but the follow-up slammed home. It's Chad Deering. The hometown kid gets the Burn back in this one.
The game changes completely now. The momentum shifts. The crowd gets into it. And how many times had we seen Chad Deering try and push forward into the box from his center midfield position? And it was a real nice lead up by the Dallas Burn. Excellent possession through midfield. They work it wide. Donovan provides the cross. Thornton gets his fingertips to it. Graziani's there, but so is Chad Deering to slam it home. Chad Deering, born in the Dallas area, back here, and he's a hero now, folks, as he gets his head to this one in the 6-yard box. Zach Thornton already out of position, having tried to reach the cross that came in from Donovan.
Well, we talked about what he almost did in the first half. He did do it here. By the way, Price whistled for a foul on a breakaway, and another conniption from Dave Durr on the sideline. But it was a similar run in the U.S. Open Cup with Lawless and Balboa clearing the way, some of the way Graziani did there, that Deering finished up with the header to slam it home. Podrozny. Gutierrez. Kosecki against Dave. Deflected across the end line and a corner kick. Deering started the 1998 World Cup against Germany. That's where he played up until coming back to the Dallas Burn. And that goal in the friendly against Paraguay, the one which propelled him back in the national spotlight. But I think this one put him in the hearts of the Burn fans. Let's see if the Burn defense can keep Dallas in this one with 35 minutes left.
Novak trying to rally the Chicago Fire because the momentum has shifted. Give credit to Chad Deering, right there on your screen in red, raising his arms. Deering, a very experienced pro, having played in Germany, as we talked about, having played in a World Cup. He knows it's a 90-minute game. Now the game is shifted towards the Dallas Burn here at home, where they've been so successful this season.
Pareja stripping Gutierrez, and a foul whistled against the Fire midfielder. Free kick for Dallas. And we talked about that 2-0 dangerous lead, and many people might scoff at that, but all you have to do is just consider what has happened over the last 2 minutes. Deering scores, it's a 1-goal lead, and the momentum has switched to the guys in red. Kubik. The other axiom is the most dangerous time in the soccer game is a minute or two before a goal or after a goal. And let's see if Dallas can strike quickly, just like Chicago did in the early going. Good defense by Rodriguez.
But this also raises the importance of the injury to Ante Razov. It's one less offensive threat the Chicago Fire have if this game were to be tied up by Dallas.
33 minutes left to go. This is the third and deciding game of this Western Conference semifinals. There is no tomorrow when it comes to the 1999 MLS playoffs for the loser. And you can see some of that intensity on the field.
Pareja with 2 assists in game 1 of this series. Good playmaker. Colombian exchanging words with another Colombian, Diego Gutierrez, although Gutierrez, as we've mentioned, spent a lot of time in the USA, especially in the Kansas City area, where he started his MLS career.
Here's Tommy Sohm. Nice little chip. Kubik almost got it. Quickly restarted upfield by Rodriguez, headed back by Brown, and good defense from Chicago. That's what you expect from this Fire squad. Very composed, and give them credit because they're showing this composure without Francis Okara in the lineup. The general is hurt, has a groin strain, and cannot play tonight, but that has not appeared to affect them much. Nice tackle and a turnover. Here comes Deering to the near side. Pareja. Oh, what a tricky pass to Price. Can he do something with it? Back to the Colombian. In the middle for Eck. Early pass looking for Santel. Haynes was open on the outside. There's Dougherty. Runs into Haynes, and a foul call.
Nice try, Brian Haynes. Pretty obvious foul that he put on Paul Dougherty.
Kubik, another reason perhaps to be a happy man, to in addition to the league, one of his old teams, Fiorentina, a big win today against Arsenal in the Champions League.
At Wembley in London.
Gabriel Batistuta with one of the hardest goals you'll ever see. Perhaps next to a Jason Price free kick. Kubik.
Tough hombre, Lubos Kubik. But what skill he possesses in that left foot. He can hold the ball as well as any forward.
Eck was appealing for the throw, and he finally got it. Ended up lifting his boot to touch the ball and got more of C.J. Brown's face than the leather. Brown also earned his first cap in that game against Australia, along with Chris Armas. And C.J. has been pretty much one of Bruce Arena's favorite picks since.
Well, a Cinderella story in the career of C.J. Brown. He was a Division III player in the USISL. And the San Francisco Seals were able to upset several MLS teams in that '97 U.S. Open Cup. It got him recognized.
Good hustle by Tommy Sohn. Here's Kubik. Kubik up to Dougherty. Dougherty in a sandwich eluded the burn. Touched out by Armas. He's appealing for a deflection. No call. And a throw-in for Dallas. In the books. 30 minutes remain. A one-goal game. Whoever wins advances to face LA on Sunday. You'll see it on ESPN2. Whoever loses starts preparing for the year 2000. Sunday's game 1 of the Western Conference Finals set for 5:30 from the Rose Bowl. Rodriguez, Pareja with some space. Pass to Donoff, who thought Pareja would take advantage of it. Instead, it's out for the Chicago throw. Coming up on SportsCenter at 11:30, the Yankees try for back-to-back sweeps. Steve Young has a few questions about his future. In the NHL, the Penguins battle the Ducks. It's Jagr against Korea, all on SportsCenter, 11:30 Eastern. Daring, the goal scorer, the man who got this game back into the limelight. Donoff bumped from behind, no call other than the throw.
Dougherty. It starts to come down to just mental toughness in this tight of a game with so much at stake. Which team can continue to compete under this pressure without breaking?
Donoff, near side. And again, that battle seems to be going Diego Gutierrez's way almost every time. Sohn slams it upfield. The Chicago Fire held it shotless so far here in the second half, and Dallas, one of their 4 shots, has found pay dirt. They just need to find another. A shootout win counts just the same as a victory. So really all they need to do to continue their hope is get one more goal. Santel, nice cut into the box on the right foot. A blast to the near post. Side netting just outside of Thornton's reach.
Well, the Burn looking for that tying goal. Santel from a bad angle. He may have done better. Good hustle by Graziani, who's clipped there.
Phil Shane, Ty Keogh with you here from the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. The Fire, the defending champions, the Burn, the upstarts. They found their offense, and they find one more offensive blast before this one is over. The Fire in the white defending the goal towards the right of the screen as Chicago keeper Zach Thornton slams the ball upfield. The home Dallas Burn wearing the dark jerseys attacking Thornton and doing so relentlessly here in the second half. Santel, the early cross to the penalty spot for Price. Getting ahead to it was Tom Sohn. Santel fighting for a corner kick. They're going to get it. Jesse Marsh appealing for a foul. Instead, Dallas with another chance. Matt Jordan, who was benched to start this game, still a leading candidate for goalkeeper of the year. Mark Dodd, the experienced veteran, on there now. Off balance clearance by Kubik. They'll try it again. And you can see Jordan, any resentment off his face. He's pulling for his teammates now. Nice cross. Top of the 6. Can't find Dave. Headed by Sohn. Dallas fighting for a Tedek against 3 Fire defenders. Stutter step for Donoff. Facing a double team. Almost got it past Gutierrez.
That's a great battle.
Goal kick.
And at this point, I know we're in Dallas and not San Antonio, but it's looking a bit like the Alamo, the last stand here for the Fire, as they just try and hold on to the 1-goal lead. And remember, they earned that second goal in only the 5th minute of play.
A little bit surprised that John Ball ended up among the substitutes, a very creative player who was very influential down the stretch for Chicago, but there was some talk that Sam George was picked up with Doherty from Tampa Bay. Perhaps more of a defensive player would be Bob Bradley's choice. And right now they're holding on to a 1-goal lead. Ball back out there.
Ball able to score a goal in the later minutes of that game 1 that was played here at the Cotton Bowl between these two teams. That may give him some confidence.
Connecticut native, 26 years of age. He can dish it out as well. Led Staten Island in the A-League in assists last year, but right now they're just looking for someone who can keep up down that far side. And here's a chance. Ball dropping back. Kubik trying to catch up to Price. Slammed away. Dallas was just having way too much success down that right flank, and Bob Bradley trying to shore it up with Ball. Let's see what Price can do. Price to the middle for Pareja. Deflected, cleared by Brown.
Again, without Ante Razov up front, maybe be able to use his great speed to run under some of these long clearances and put a little bit more pressure on the Dallas Burn. What you have now is the Dallas Burn coming for wave after wave of attack.
Price wins the ball. Daring blasts. Oh, what a goal that would have been. But no problem for Zach Thornton. You can see the hustle from Deering and Price. Dallas fighting to get back in this one. And Dave Durr can only look on in frustration.
Well, Chad Deering has raised his game. He got his team back into the match with that goal here in the second half, and he's trying to light one up from long range there at 69 miles per hour on the Pepsi power shot.
Far side, Novak giving chase Haynes. Novak gets past him. Novak in the box. Shoots to the middle, and a great save. The key, no rebound from Dodd.
Razov trying to make that Novak trying to outguess Mark Dodd. Hoping that Dodd would expect a cross and trying to sneak with the inside of his left one, which is so good, trying to sneak one in at the near side.
Here's a chance. Dougherty takes the elbow from Haynes. Ball, cross, cleared away by Eck. Controlled by Novak, stolen away by Santel. Here comes Dallas the other way. Tries to elude C.J. Brown, he does. Price switches, and well read again by Chris Armas.
Well, not a great ball by Jason Price. A great idea to try and switch the play to Pareja, but the pass off the mark.
A little bit surprised. They have made one substitution with Brian Haynes coming into this game, but they still have Dante Washington. They still have John Jairo Reyes. When does Dave Durr go to the bench one more time? It's becoming a valuable commodity.
Well, especially the two guys that you mentioned, because they are proven goal scorers just about any level they've played at.
Dougherty, nice pass to Novak, but he's almost by himself up there. Here's Bobrovsky, far side. Kubik's found a gap. Kubik, top of the box, shot, saved by Dodd. And there's that composure Dave Durr talked about. Kubik could have done better, but Dodd stood him up and shut him down.
But Kubik so intelligent, picking his time to sneak forward again, as he did on the first goal, to set up the chance that was finished off by Razov.
Give John Ball credit. He has provided a spark for the Chicago attack. Price trying to head it on to Graziani, who has been very silent of late. Soft touch by Kubik. Here's Ball again. Ball into the area. Oh, what a pass. Just in front of the outstretched boot of Jesse Marsh. And more headaches for Dodd.
Marsh just held his run slightly. Not sure how he could link up with that cross from Ball.
Great move by Price. Here's Pareja. Cross to the near side. Price giving chase. Gutierrez touches it into safety. A throw-in for Dallas. End to end.
Game really opening up. Jason Price likes that because all he needs is a small space to get in a shot.
Pareja fighting through the challenge. Can't get past Armas. Blast upfield. This is what you'd expect from a Game 3, and Dallas and Chicago are giving each other all they can handle. A heavyweight bout here, and we have reached the championship rounds. 21 minutes and change to go. 2-1 Chicago. If they can hold on, they'll take on LA on Sunday.
The motions from the Chicago bench to Kubik. Go ahead, Lubos. Get back and do a little more defending. I know he's looking for the goal that could break the game wide open, but in doing so, he leaves the fire a little bit short at the back.
Cleared upfield by Kubik. Dade heads it to the middle. Eck racing to get there. Rodriguez, who's since stepping into the middle, has shored up the defense and allowed them to get Mark Santel into the attack. Here's Donoff down the other flank. Gutierrez. Nice work to get it upfield, and he'll find Armas. The little things that don't make it into the box score just there from Gutierrez. Here's Novak.
And from Armas, too, to be available for him.
Oh, a great defense by Rodriguez. The El Salvadoran national team players shining there.
Look at the spaces now opening up on this field.
Pareja stripped. Marsh pinching over from the far side.
Last 20 minutes here, a war of attrition.
Onside, they beat the trap again. It's Novak giving chase. It's Eck. Novak to the middle, punched away by Dodd. Here's Marsh, top of the box. Rolls it through, and he almost hit Dougherty. Trading blows in the center of the ring. Chicago and Dallas.
Ladies and gentlemen,
well, Mark Dodd has had to deal with some dangerous crosses from Peter Novak. Last time was from the other side. This one, a flying save. And at the far post was Jerry Podrozny. Rodriguez, very well-timed tackle to pick the ball off of Novak.
That's not easy. Remember, Peter Novak, we know he's a great MLS player. Just a few years ago, he was voted the Playmaker of the Year in the German Bundesliga, ahead of the likes of Andy Muller. And he still shows some of that flair here tonight. Under 20 minutes to go. Haynes. Pareja. Price. Oh, just off his boot. Dougherty. Tripped up, a foul against Donoff, and again in the dirt is Diego Gutierrez. Let's flash back. Early on, Chicago had domination.
There's been 3 goals in this game. The first one for the Chicago Fire. Kubik sets up Ante Razov. Good finish at the near post. He gets it underneath Mark Dodd. In the 5th minute of play, Jesse Marsh. A free kick by Kubik. Marsh just gets a toe to it. And the Burn were stunned, but the Dallas Burn fought back. And many chances for Chad Deering. Finally, here in the second half of play, they've made a real game of it.
And perhaps going to the Arsenal. As you take a look at our Budweiser scoring summary, Chad Deering getting the Dallas Burn back in this one, and Dante Washington taping up the shin pads. He's getting set to come in. No foul called. Kevin Stott is letting him fight it out on the field. Marsh chipping it into space. Look at Santel. There's the defense from the flank you were talking about. He draws a foul against Ball. Give Ball credit. A lot of refs wouldn't have called that.
Sergei Donnet, one of the toughest players you'll ever see, physically challenging the Chicago Fire at midfield, trying to turn the tide.
Brown chipping it into space. No one there. Here's Deering. His goal started the festivities here in the second half. 55th minute from Deering. He had an equally brilliant opportunity in the first half, but denied. Good positioning from Zach Thornton, but nothing Thornton could do on that goal.
Thornton had already done as much as he could, trying to reach the cross from Pareja.
Kubik uses his 6'3" frame to sail over the Colombian Pareja. Let's see if Pareja can teach the Czech some lessons. He forces the ball out, and again, he forced it to Kubik's weaker right foot. Here's Price, top of the box. Can he get there? Brown gets there first. Rodriguez. Heck. Smart play, back to Haynes with plenty of space. Haynes looking for Donoff again. They keep going at Diego Gutierrez, and they haven't won one yet. 2:30 left to go in regulation. Donoff, a battler, a few more battlers getting set to show off their wares. Tell you more about that coming up on Friday. Here's Donoff. Can they get the equalizer? Deflected. Price tracks it down. He almost got it with his arm. And I think Kevin Stott gave him a break. Still Dallas unable to do anything with it. And F whistled for the foul. Championship bout, top-rated challengers, and classic fight footage. What can it be? Friday Night Fights presented by Budweiser. Champion Brannon puts his title on the line against challenger James Butler. For the latest boxing news and info, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Thornton upfield. Ball lays back and no problem for Dodd. Here's Dave. Graziano forces the clear out of play and a throw-in for Dallas. Dave. Long throw, Pareja in the box. Somehow lands at his feet, somehow gets the cross in, and only Pani Sohn's positioning stopped that one from being a Dallas chance.
Well, Sohn filling in very ably for Francisco Carl. That'll be an offside there. But what was really telling on that last play for the Dallas Burn is as the ball came to the box, there were 4 red shirts in there looking to pounce.
14:40 and the sub will be made. Dante Washington entering the game. Mark Santel leaving. So they're going with the more of a out-and-out center forward in Washington, and they're taking Santel out. There was a thought from the bench lead here that they were going to Velasco Pareja, but he has been very involved in the center of the field. So instead it's Santel, and the flank play may suffer. Columbia, Maryland native is Washington, 28 years of age, a leader on the Olympic team back in 1992, and a late bloomer, you might say, in his pro career outdoors. But Dallas is glad they found him.
Well, there's always a trade-off. Santel was having a pretty good game and was making his presence felt on the flanks, both defensively and offensively.
The yellow card against Gutierrez as Washington perhaps drew that one.
Well, the substitution already paying dividends. Dante Washington, good one-on-one and an out-and-out target player.
And what they've done is switched Donoff to the far side. They had no success with Donoff against Gutierrez, and not much better against Ball, but it will be a Dallas throw. Deering, flips it over his head to himself. Ball on his powerful right foot. Safely back to Eck. Very dangerous around the box is Washington. Gutierrez knew it and just slams it upfield. Rodriguez rolls it through for Pareja. Armas all over him. Touch to the middle by Novak. Gutierrez knocked to the turf behind the play. Dougherty, Pobroznik. Nice idea for Novak, but I don't even think Ben Johnson on the juice could have caught that one. 13 minutes left to go. And again, remember, Dallas only needs to get a goal and force a shootout to keep their hopes alive. A shootout win in the postseason counts as a win just as much as a win in regulation. Pareja battling it out with Armas, bending the cross to the near post, and a great play by Thornton to dive out and snare it. 12.5 left in regulation. Dave Durr, the Chicago native, now coaching against his hometown team. Kubik, and it looks like the gas tank nearing empty for Peter Novak. Haynes. Rodriguez. Up the middle, but over, or not past Dougherty. Stolen away by Deering. Near side for Washington. Can he get there? No. He had Price running up the middle. Kubik had dropped back quickly, though.
Well, the Dallas Burn doing a very good job of keeping Chicago in their own end and turning up the pressure.
Marsh. Dave touching it back safely. Can't get past Armas, and Deering maintains possession. And that's what Dallas has to do. Chicago has dropped back, almost a catenaccio of sorts, which they have all right to do. They hold a lead with just over 10 minutes left.
Good read by Kubik there.
Kubik pushing up into the attack. Bobrovsky. Near side Kubik.
When you have players that can hold the ball or even threaten a little bit at the other end, it finally releases some of the pressure that has been mounting on the Chicago Fire defenders here. And it's really critical because if you try and defend for an entire half, it usually backfires.
Price coming out, gets past Thornton. He's tripped up. That's going to be a foul. And Thornton was out of the box. It could be a red. The yellow comes out. Zach Thornton will go in the book, and Dallas will get a chance from the free kick. But Price looking up, he can't believe it. A good run, a great pass, and Kevin Stott perhaps showing some leniency to the Chicago keeper.
A slicing run here by Jason Price, perhaps the MVP in MLS this season, and he's won the race to this ball. Thornton misses the ball completely. It could have easily been a red card because it was deliberate.
Outside the box.
And he came outside the box to do it. I think he was given the benefit of the doubt because it was not a certain goal-scoring chance in that there were a couple of Chicago Fire defenders filling in behind Zach Thornton.
Well, this is just one of the stories unfolding during the Quest for MLS Cup. If you're looking for more, trying to find out how your favorite players are doing, log on to Yahoo Sports and follow your favorite teams and players up to the minute coverage of MLS's 1999 playoffs. A six-man wall with a seventh man lurking. Donoff runs over. Deering touches. Price off balance. The play did not work, and here comes a chance for Chicago to clear the zone. No call on the foul. Touch to the near side, and Dallas gets another chance with just over 10 left.
Dallas lucky to win back possession after they really messed up the free kick chance.
Great play by Thornton, especially after that last yellow card, showing no hesitation to come out and grab the cross. Here's Novak near side. Kubik touching it up. Mentioned that over a third of Dallas's goals came in the last 20 minutes. Well, 13 of them, nearly a quarter, coming in the last 10 minutes. That's a league high. Let's see if they can get something going here in the final 10 minutes tonight.
Stick around, folks. They're going to have some chances, that's for sure.
Graziani back to the midfield. Dade in a foot race with Novak. Well, maybe the old Pole still has something left.
But a botched chance a few moments ago for the Dallas Burn could have been very costly. And that free kick play looked like maybe it was just designed too complex.
Deering back to Haynes. Can't get the cross in. Second try, still can't. Good play by Kubik. And ball.
Now, either that or the nerves are just starting to go for the Dallas Burn because they're fighting the clock here.
Deering, who scored the goal in the 55th minute to start this comeback. Price dummies it through. Washington could not get there, and smart play by Zach Thornton. Again, the winner of this game, and Jason Price, you know who he hopes it is, will be taking on the LA Galaxy, 5:30 Eastern, from the Rose Bowl on Sunday, and you can catch it on ESPN too. And don't forget, this is all part of the quest for the Cup. Kobe Jones, Jason Price, Peter Novak, and company still fighting it out to try and get to Foxborough on November 21st. Nice run to the middle. Here's Novak, cuts it to his left. Novak shoots, deflected wide of Don's net, and out for a corner kick. Great reaction, and again, it's John Ball in the middle of that play. A telling substitution from Bob Bradley in the second half.
And Peter Novak deadly with that left foot. That ball was on target before it was blocked by a Dallas defender.
Final substitution, and Pareja will come out this time, and John Jairo Reyes, who actually led the Colombian First Division in scoring earlier this decade, back out there. Former member of Boca Juniors, that story team from Argentina. Perhaps he can pull a Maradona from his hat. An in-swinger from the corner. Top of the sixth. High in the air, a header from Dade off target. They'll do it again, and perhaps more importantly, more time for Chicago to run off the clock. 7.5 minutes left.
Back and right. Right, no right.
Marsh tries to win it. Here's a chance for Gutierrez. An open chance inside the 6, and he sends it sailing over the bar. That could have been the nail.
And no offside because the ball, in fact, had gone off of Donev, I believe, in the direction of the Chicago players that were in the offside position.
Here's Washington still battling the injuries. He says he's healthy. Maybe not after that collision with Chris Simon. 7 minutes and change. The long throw for Eck. Chance for Christ. Oh, a save by Thornton. Christ giving chase. Touches it back to Donev. The shot. A sprawling Tommy Sohn. They're going to call a penalty. A penalty. A handball. And a chance to even it up from 12 yards away.
Unbelievable action. And how did Jason Christ miss that first attempt as it came across?
C.J. Brown is down and grabbing his nose, and somewhere in the mix, he took a knot, and somewhere in the mix, a handball.
We see the first hand just flicked on by Ted Eck, and Jason Christ usually puts these away. Quite a save by Zach Thornton. There's a high boot there, a dangerous play. This ball brought up, may have been a handball on this shot here. Yes, C.J. Brown looked like his forearms made contact with the ball to block the shot.
Let's play devil's advocate, though. He didn't intentionally do it. It looked like the arm was up to protect his face.
That's intentional, to protect yourself.
But to play the ball, and there was no intent to play the ball.
I think there may have been. And if you're protecting your face, unless your hands are up there way before the play, that's one thing. But he brought him up deliberately to stop the ball, either from going in or from hitting him in the face.
Brandon Pollard, maybe a prayer answered. That's all he can do. His leg was broken in game 2, and he's knocked to the sidelines, and he's seen his teammates come out with a gutsy effort tonight.
Now here's the shot, and there's C.J. Brown putting both of his hands out, and the ball then caroling off of his forearms, and he looks to have put them out there on purpose. It's almost as if he was trying to play goal.
And if anything, grabbing his face, perhaps an act to try and elude the penalty. But great call by Kevin Stott. Great work by the camera guys as well. No doubt about it. Penalty kick. 6 minutes and 41 seconds as the clock is stopped, and a chance for Dallas to tie it. It doesn't look like Christ will take it, though. Oscar Pareja, who is 1 of 1 from the spot this year on the bench. Jason Christ, 1 of 2, the only other player to take a penalty kick. And he's not there. It looks like it's going to be Rodriguez or Deering. Deering tying the laces. Rodriguez at the top of the arc. It will be the Salvadoran. And he's the savior for Dallas. Tied at 2.
We see Brandon Pollard with the biggest smile he's had, I'm sure, since he broke his ankle on Saturday night. Dave Durr, the emotional release. I'll tell you what, a gutsy call, but in my mind, the correct call. C.J. Brown flying out to block the shot, puts his arms in the way of the shot, handball in the penalty area, and El Sarco, the blue-eyed one from El Salvador, Jorge Rodriguez, gets Zach Thornton to go the wrong way and puts it in the net to tie the game.
Dodd at the top of the box. Remember, it was Rodriguez's second heroics last year, which helped Dallas get to the postseason. The latest goal in MLS history as the clock practically struck 0. Here he has a few more minutes for some more heroics. But remember, the Fire did not win the championship for lack of effort or talent. There's still plenty of time for Chicago to come back in this. Here's Washington fighting through the midfield. Washington to the outside. Here's Graziani, a rare touch in the second half. Graziani against Brown. Graziani against Brown. Graziani, the cross. Thornton snares it in front of Christ.
Well, we talked about the Dallas Burn being able to come back in the final moments of a game. They led the league in goals in the last 10 minutes of a match.
The Chicago bench, or the Fire bench, screaming for a foul.
Incensed by that play that occurred right in front of him.
And a yellow card was given after the play ended to Paul Dougherty. So Paul Dougherty goes in the book. And Eck limps back on the field. What would you expect from Ted Eck?
One of the toughest players ever in MLS. When they had Leonel Alvarez and Ted Eck in the midfield.
5 minutes left to go. Cross, back post. Graziani giving chase, and again, Thornton coming out to snag it. Graziani slams it off of Brown, perhaps getting some frustration out in the process, but another corner for Dallas.
Tell you what, the fans have been entertained, and the fact is they did not give up on the Dallas Burn, despite the fact that they went down 2 goals in the first 5 minutes.
Header off balance for Dade. Marsh touch to the near side. Here's a chance for Treyas. Deflected. Across the face of the goal. Graziani! Off the post and in! Oh my! Treyas kept it alive! And there is Graziani on the spot! Two goals in less than 2 minutes. And that golden goal we talked about for Price, this is where it pays off.
Well, only 4 minutes and 36 seconds remaining. Treyas gets it into Dante Washington. Price can't reach it. And barely wedging it in is Graziani. Seeing an old empty net, he got under the ball a little bit, almost put it over the top. But an incredible finish here. The steal here, first of all, by Dade to get it into Treyas. Treyas, nice little ball, the outside of his left foot, squeezes it through. Price thought the opportunity had gone past him, but it fell to Graziani, and he put it away. And remember, we talked about this in the first half, how dangerous and how deceptive a 2-0 lead could be, especially when it's gained so early in a game.
Frankie Klopas has entered the game for Chicago. But right now, it's number 11, John Jairo Treyas, the Colombian, striding towards Zach Thornton's net. Dallas has the lead. They can be patient. Pass to Graziani, and that was very close to onside. The flag came up, and a chance for Chicago to catch its breath. We talked about the substitutions that were not made. Well, obviously, Dave Durr made them in time as Treyas and Washington combined to set up Graziani.
Go-ahead goal, the first time that Dallas has held the lead. Come from behind from a 2-goal deficit.
Here's Novak. Pushed from behind from Mack. Pass to the middle. Armas. Kubik. Klopas. Pobrozny. Top of the arc. Push down. No foul. Price to Treyas. It's 2 against 1. Thornton backing up. Treyas in a foot race with Brown, and he pushed it too far. Gives C.J. Brown credit. There's that youthful speed from the 24-year-old. Far side Donovan. Pushing and shoving. Kevin Stott finally blows the whistle, calls a yellow card. That's another one. That's the 10th yellow card of the game.
But only the first one for Chad Deering. If it were his second, he'd be gone.
Frank Klopas, who scored one of the biggest goals in Fire history last year, the golden goal to win the Open Cup. He has been in a supplemental role in 1999, but is there one more blast of heroics from the Chicago native? Dallas on the chance here. C.J. Brown has it skim off the top of his head, and Graziani on the near side. Under 3 minutes, and time is on their side for the Burn right now. Dougherty and Novak back to Brown.
Will the defending champions, the Chicago Fire, fall? They've only got about 2.5 minutes.
Well, they say you have to knock out the champion, and Dallas has the champs wobbling late in the fight. 2:30 left to go. Here's Klopas. Klopas touched away. It will be a Chicago throw. He's appealing for the foul. Deering wins the argument. Soft touch. Novak blasts it for the upper corner, but off target. Goal kick for Dodd. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Francis O'Cara can only look on and wonder what would have happened if he was healthy enough to be in the starting lineup for the Fire today. The fans are on their feet in the Cotton Bowl. Washington fighting against Marsh. Kubik's second effort to Dougherty, slammed high in the air by Dade. Here's Kreis. What a way to cap off an MVP season. No better way than lifting the cup, and that dream still lives in Dallas. Reyes heads it to Kreis, top of the box, and another desperation stop. Kreis gets another chance from Graziani and cleared by Brown. 70 seconds left. Reyes against Tommy Sohm. Sohm won the championship after leaving Dallas last year for Chicago. It looks like his old firm mates might get another chance here tonight. 1 minute left. Throw in Chicago.
Well, they've been talking about this one for a long time in North Texas. Dallas Burn, everyone must have counted them out. Down 2-0 to the defending champions after only 5 minutes into this match.
Let's let the fans have their say. With 30 seconds left, Dallas fighting back to take the lead late against Chicago. Reyes giving chase. Tripped up in a foul. 15 seconds. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This game is over. The champions have fallen, and Dallas advances to face the Galaxy in the Western Conference Finals.
Chad Deering, the Dallas captain, started the comeback. In fact, he was the guy battling the hardest late in the first half to try and get the Burn back into the game. But when he scored in the 55th minute, it set the stage for the comeback, one of the best comebacks all time in MLS. Our Honda player of the game, Ariel Graziani, who battled, fought, and scrapped, and came up with the game winner with just over 4 minutes remaining.
The Argentine-born Graziani, a citizen of Ecuador, a citizen of Italy, and also, I think right now, a citizen of the great state of Texas. The game-winning goal against the Chicago Fire, and Jesse Marsch, his ring of 3 straight championships has come to an end. The dream in Dallas lives on. 3-2 Burn.